champ is here. I just smack shit by him.
Bringing that energy. And you are the champ, my man. Larry Long Jr., the infamous gold and rose gold mic. Mic's in his hand, showing up and showing out. Larry, how are you doing, brother?
Oh, man, doing great, Rob. Happy to be here. The bare necessities of entrepreneurship. Happy to be here, Rob. Thank you, man.
You bet. And I'm really excited to kind of catch up with you. You know, we had you on the pod back in season 1, back in the early days, like episode 16. Now we're on episode 70-something here a year later. And, you know, I'm really excited because, and I'll make sure if you've not heard the episode with Larry or don't know his story, which most of you should have, I'll link the first episode in the show notes. But at that time, you were still the director of collegiate athletic sales for Teamworks, and you were side hustling as a speaker. And since then and now, you've made the leap, and you're now running your own company. You have a book, which we'll be talking about. You've been traveling all over, speaking and shining on stages. So tell me a little bit, what was that moment? What was that like for you when you finally took that full-on step, like, hey, I'm back on my own again? Because you talked about your failed first entrepreneurial venture back with, you know, the batting cages and stuff back in the day. Talk me quickly. What was that moment like for you when you made that jump back into, hey, I'm going out on my own?
Rob, it was scary. Who am I kidding? It was scary. I was nervous. I still am nervous, but I'm living a dream. I'm living a dream. Every day I get to wake up and I really get to step into my gifting. I get to serve. I get to help. I get to speak. I mean, you can't beat that, but entrepreneurship, it can be scary, it can be lonely, but I've really been fortunate, man. I built a team. You're included on that team of just a support network to help me to support other people. And it's amazing. I mean, it's been since the last time we talked, the amount of learnings that I've had and the amount of learnings that I've learned on my own as well as from others has been, it's just been off the charts. Every day is just a spectacular blessing. I got to pinch myself. I can't believe that this is what I get to do for my career.
You know, I know that feeling when I took the leap. You know, the first time I did it with a co-founder, right? And then we sold that company earlier this year. But the second time when I did it all on my own, you know, I was like, okay, I got this. Like, I've done this once before, but it was even scarier the second time. And it's like, oh, the second time should be easier. It's like, yeah, but the first time was easier because I had a co-founder. Like, I had a partner in crime. This one I don't. And it's really important to build your team, like you talk about, surround yourself with others to lean on, to give you guidance, but also to, you know, to keep you motivated, keep you honest, and keep you driven. And I know, you know, that team also includes a lot of your family, who's been a big driving force behind that. So I'm excited for you. Before I get into the book, though, you know, I've seen you speak at a lot of really cool places. What's been your best and your worst, and why, over the last year of speaking?
It's kind of like kids. I can't pick my best. I can tell you one of my most memorable. December of last year, I got the MC an event at Salesforce at their studios in San Francisco. And I had the pleasure of introducing Neon Deion Sanders, which I don't know if you know this. I had a poster. Yeah, Primetime. I had a poster of Primetime. This is back in the 90s in my college dorm room. So that was just surreal. Arsene Wenger of the English Premier League. Ryan Serhant of $1 Million Listing New York. It was just unbelievable. They had a makeup artist. I said, if you can get this mug looking good, you must be a magician. And she had me tighten up. I said, wow, this is a dream. Larry Long Jr. done went Hollywood. So that was one of my most memorable. In terms of the worst, I haven't had a worst. I mean, either you're living, you're learning, you're loving. Anytime I have the opportunity to touch just one person, it's an awesome opportunity. So I've had some that have been a little bit hairy. I went out to North Dakota. I said, what am I doing out here? It's freezing. It's -11. I wasn't built for it tough, but that was memorable in its own right. And I don't know if you know this, Rob. I'm about to go out on a 12-city, 18-day tour with Becc Holland, Keenan, and my man Guillaume from France, Parlez-vous français. We're about to flip the script, come into a city by you. Come check us out.
I'm excited. I remember you saying something about it in passing, and that's really, I mean, it's fucking amazing. One, because two, I know Becc, last time she went on the road, she came through New York City. So is New York City on your list? Are you coming through New York City this year?
1,000%. You know there's no better place to kick off the tour than New York, New York. I'm taking a bite out of that big green apple. We'll be in New York in late October. Can't wait to see you there.
Dude, I'm super, super stoked. I will definitely be there. I'll be the first one in the doors. Like, I mean, you do realize I'm going to give you the biggest bear hug because it'll be the first time we get to see each other in real life. It's going to be like, holy shit, 3 years in the making. Like, yeah, man, I can't wait. It's going to be fun. That's exciting. The tour is going to be awesome. For those that don't know about it, Becc Holland and that crew has been amazing in the way they offer, well, to flip the script on sales and putting out there and going on the road and really delivering a lot of value, and to have you be a part of that. It's going to be amazing. Also, you know, you were part of JB Sales Content House experience. What was that like? That looked way too much fun. And obviously when you have talent like James Buckley, Morgan, and the whole crew down there, like, what was that experience like?
Unbelievable. I mean, when I look at this year, really the past 365 days, life has been a whirlwind of just amazingness. To be able to chop it up with Leslie Douglas, Devin Reed, Morgan J. Ingram, James, I mean, the list goes on and on. John Barrow's coming on through. It was absolutely amazing. It's one of those bucket list items that I'll never forget, and I can't wait to do it again. We tore up Hotlanta, and I can't wait until we do it again domestically or even internationally. Watch out, world, we're coming.
I love it, man. I can't tell you how, you know, this is something, because, you know, I do a lot of work with Europe. I'd say a majority of my clientele is in Europe, and we have over 67 countries that tune into this podcast right now. So one of the things I've realized is that the language of sales, and not just sales, right? Because, you know, you're a seller at heart. That's your background. But the work you've been doing also really has focused more into motivation, inspiration, and transformation. And what we mean by that is, how do we make the most out of every damn day, right? Like, and not every day is good. You know, not every day. I know you always joke like you pitch yourself every day, but not every day we wake up and feel like, fuck, I'm excited. You know, sometimes we wake up like, fuck, I hurt. I'm tired. But with the right mindset, the way that you attack each day, you can wake up and be like, hey, look, we can overcome this and we can get through today with a level of positivity. And that's a sliding scale, right? So as you've kind of like taken the sales side of you into this next journey, tell me a little about like what's the big push from moving Larry Long Jr. as a sales trainer, coach, speaker to like Larry Long Jr., the motivator? And why is that such a big inflection point for you?
Yeah, well, sales is service. And I think I was put on this earth to serve and to help others believe in their greatness. And that's the whole thing, Rob. It doesn't matter what you do. You've got greatness inside of you. Now, your greatness is probably different from mine. It's different from the next person. I'm here to help you tap into your greatness. So sales, that's just the natural transition of kind of tech sales. That's the world that I lived in. And in addition to sales, business professionals, entrepreneurs, folks that are in all walks of life, they need to hear that message, which is what I'm on a mission for. The book, that's just the tipping point. We're scratching the surface. Right now, don't tell nobody else. You heard it here first. My family, we're working on a children's book. Jolt for Kids. We're going to help kids uncover their inner greatness. We're going to help kids to understand that it's about your choices, the decisions that you make, the company. Woo, got me all choked up. I'm so excited. The company that you keep. The inclusion, making sure that you welcome anybody and everybody, because we all need that togetherness. So the future is bright. I think someone said, hey, Larry, you might have a little streaming series come out. Don't tell nobody else, but we're working on it.
Dude, Larry, let's go. When are you start? Have you started the process for the book? Are you going to be starting?
Every night at dinner, we're cooking up some ideas.
I love it.
Me, my son Trey, my daughter Lucia, my wife Maria. We're cooking some stuff up. It's in the oven. It's going in the oven. We got it cooking up.
I love it. I just started the process of turning my book into a children's book. It should be hopefully this fall as well. So I've been working with Timmy Bauer at Dinosaur House on making this thing happen. And I talked about it in an episode a couple weeks ago. It's such an amazing thing. Well, I want to take a step back because this had to have been a great feeling for you, right? So one of the things that I loved about Jolt is you talk a lot about one of my favorite words, right? And even in my title of my book, intentionality, right? Talk about being intentional. And it's talking about like the inner greatness that you're talking about. So what was the launching point when was it like, I'm going to write a book? Because I know how hard it is to write a book. It's fucking hard. So when you made that decision, what was that like? And just talk me through the kind of high level version of like, what was that process like of going through and writing this book?
I was very reluctant. I was reluctant, Rob. I was the reluctant author. I met a ghostwriter and a book consultant who said, Larry, you got to tell your story. I said, every Wednesday I tell my story on my midday motivational minute. And she said, survey says, nah, you need to tell your story in writing. I said, well, Larry Long Jr. doesn't write very well. Any of my English teachers will tell you, there's no way that dude wrote a book. But she said, I'm here to help. I'm here to serve you and support you to make sure that we get this on print. And it was a 1.5-year process. There were plenty of times where I was ready to tap out. I was ready to give up. But then working with my coach, what's up, Coach Kristen Frade, we went back to my why. My vision, my goal of touching as many people. And there's some people that will never hear me speak, but now this provides an avenue for them to hear my words in the written form. So it's one of my greatest accomplishments. It's one of those where I never would have thunk it. I mean, think of that, an author that used the word thunk. How does that happen? But it's just been an amazing journey, adventure, and sometimes misadventure. You know how that goes, Rob.
Very, very, very much so. One of the things I remembered when I wrote and launched my book, and I kind of joke about this. I had a writing coach and an amazing publisher and Jared Rosen and Juliet Clark who helped me through a lot getting this book ready. But I remembered I had a deep imposter syndrome fear when we were about to be like, hey, this is like done, we're shipping out. Did you have that moment? Did you have that kind of like, am I really ready for this? Am I ready for this to be out? Or were you like in your power at that time and like, let's go?
Come on, Cletus. I still have that voice, that FUD, not Elmer Fudd, but that fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And working with my coach, we put a name. The name is Cletus. And essentially, I got to brush Cletus off my shoulder because he talks a whole bunch of trash. You're not worthy. You're not good enough. Cletus tells me all the things that I can't do when inside I know that I can do anything. I think Kevin Garnett said it when the Celtics won the championship. Anything is possible! And that's the voice that I'm trying to amplify, not just for myself, but for everyone else that needs to hear that. Because imposter syndrome, it's kind of like the droplets of COVID. It's contagious, and a lot of people suffer from it unnecessarily. And sometimes you just need to hear that voice that's encouraging you, Hercules, Hercules, that you can do it. If Larry Long Jr. can do it, anyone can do it. You can go ahead, Soldier Boy, tell it.
The amount of movie references that you just hit in about a 20-second clip was probably my most favorite thing. Like, obviously winning to Eddie with the donkey, the llama and Hercules, like the Hercules, like immediately going to like those things. Like, I can see the movie that you're talking through. I love this. And, you know, you said I can do anything. I love that you brought this up. And one of my favorite quotes that my coach gave me about 6 months ago that has changed a lot for me, and I have it written right here on my desk, like eye level, just to the right. Because whenever I'm thinking, whenever I need to like take a minute to like formulate a response, because I do that thing where sometimes my mouth works faster than my brain processes, so I'll say things before like I totally process. So I have to look off, and I have it right here because this is where I always look, and it says I can do anything, but I can't do everything. And you've been on an amazing journey last 365 days. You also had a goal to play golf in all these places. You and your son, your family, your son was in the Little League World Series and almost made it to Williamsport. Like, you have been doing so many things. So how does Larry Long Jr., author, speaker, coach, father, friend, son, all these things, how does Larry Long Jr. balance out time, energy, and effort to keep this level of intentionality and positivity? Because that's something that inspires me. Like, before I answer that question, I have to say this. You inspire me every damn day. And I don't always catch the midweek motivational minute live, but I always go back and look. And you and I have a lot of similarities. We've talked a lot. And every time I like need that jolt, like literally I need that jolt, I just go to your Instagram page. So how do you keep that high level all the time?
Yeah, barely, to be honest with you. And Rob, I've got a staff of 3 that work for me. Me, myself, and I. Which I love that quote. I can do anything, but I can't do everything. And I've been noodling. I'm just going to be honest with all the entrepreneurs out there, all the listeners. I've been noodling about hiring a virtual professional, but I've been scared. And I suffer from fear of the unknown and fear of letting go, because right now I do everything. And I realize that if I want to continue to grow, I can't do everything. So it's really that piece of my heart that I got to let go, a piece of my business, and trust someone else. It makes me break out into sweats, but my energy, that's something that we all control. And you talked about intentionality, being intentional. When I wake up, I ask myself this question. It's a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing to help others? So if I can answer that at the end of each day, Larry, what did you do today to actually positively impact someone else's life? It only takes one to make the day a success, to be fulfilled. Now, hopefully it's more than one, but that's really what I try to live, kind of my guiding principle. What am I doing to serve someone else, to help lift them up?
I love that so much because I'm right there with you. Enneagram 7, I very much love to serve and love to be a part of things. And I know that struggle where it's both a success, but it's also a double-edged sword, because sometimes you want to give so much of yourself, and sometimes you do it at the cost of your relationships, your health, your money, time, all these things. So I love that you bring that up and that you're really vulnerable about it. And I for somebody who has a virtual support staff person, I had 2, now I have 3. Game changer, absolute game changer in the fact that there are times where I know that I don't know, and I can lean on them and I say, hey, this is what you're doing. This is what I have you for. Make the executive decision. Because I can always go change it, or I can like delete it. But having that person there to like help me is huge. So I would definitely say you should check that out.
Hey, Rob, I absolutely love what you shared in terms of bringing on assistance, bringing on help. We all need it. There's a great quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone, go solo, roll all by yourself. But if you want to go far, you got to do it together. I think they say teamwork really makes the dream work, and it does. So I absolutely love you sharing that. Rob, you talked about me being an inspiration to you. I hope you know you're an inspiration to me. I look up to you. I appreciate you. I appreciate all your support, your encouragement. Can't stop, won't stop. I love what you're doing. You stay focused on helping, serving others here domestically as well as internationally. Keep doing what you're doing. I got to say thank you for hosting me, for bringing me on the bare necessities of entrepreneurship. Always a privilege and a pleasure to be on your show. And please let your listeners know if there's anything I can do to help, serve, support them, to reach out to me. The best way to find me is on LinkedIn, Larry Long Jr. I got the smile for a mile. I got the gold mic. You might find me dropping the platinum mic. I think it's pink, rose gold, close enough. I'm colorblind. It matches my bat. I guess you could say it matches my shirt. Maybe not, but hey, we're trying to get it done. And if you want to check out my website, it's Larry Long Jr. That's JR.com. Please reach out. Let me know what I can do to serve you. Rob, thank you so much for hosting me. Thank you for always supporting me. I wish you all the best and continued success. Bye for now.
Hey, y'all. I just wanted to shoot a quick little ending segment as we had a little bit of issues there. Larry closed out really strong. And I just wanted to we'll come back on and say, if you don't know about Larry or if you haven't checked him out, please do so. LarryLongJr.com. Pick up a copy of his book, Jolt. Now, I'll make sure to link it in the show notes. It is a wonderfully easy read. A lot of great actionable tips and tricks. So make sure you go check my guy out. Give him some love. Buy his book. If you're looking for a dynamic keynote speaker anywhere around the globe and you want to bring passion and energy and fire, let Larry know. Get a hold of him. I promise you will not be disappointed. Bear Nation, thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, stay well and rise up. Bear Nation, thanks for listening to the Bare Necessities of Entrepreneurship. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a review.